That's the best way to start this darn live stream is with my puppy growling in the background. Apollo. He is currently created and he's chewing on one of his toys. And when he chews on his toys, he does his little play growl, which is hilarious. He's just so funny. On the floor over there. Oh, I see what's on the floor over there. Didn't see that on the floor before. See if anybody joins. If nobody joins by 2:15, I'm out of here, friends. Which is fine. Having fun just rolling around? Having fun? What are you doing? He said, "What? I will stop paying if that means you can pay attention to me, Mom." Come here. What are you doing, little guy? You're growing so fast. It makes me so sad. People get to see how much he's grown. I mean, I guess you got to see in this week's video because I just filmed that last Saturday. Oh my goodness, now I've got him all riled up because I paid attention to him. No, baby, you got to stay creative while Mama's on her live stream. I know, I'm the worst mom ever, fully aware. Oh my goodness. Okay. What was my favorite episode of the Dino Fury episodes on Netflix? Hello, Lanzo. Oh my goodness, calm down. You're fine. You're fine. And this is why I didn't live stream for a couple months. So which one was my favorite? Not the last one. The last one scared me too much. So the last one, the third one has, I have this terrible phobia of dolls. So in the very first scene where we see a doll, a few dolls, one that is like a disbodied head. I had a little panic. But I would have to say probably the first one, because the first one, the one where they go camping, that one was a lot of fun. Just because you got to really see the dynamics between the different characters and how that all played out. Your favorite was the second one. The second one was good. I thought all three of them were really nice, were really good. I didn't dislike any of them. It's just the third one kind of freaked me out at the very beginning, and I was kind of concerned that I wasn't gonna be able to finish watching it because I wasn't sure how like the dolls were gonna play into it, but the dolls literally didn't play into it at all, so it's fine. But yeah, the first one was probably my favorite. Second one was probably my second. It probably goes in that order: first, second, third. So fun times. No, they were good. I thought all of them were really good. I'm really liking the season so far. It's actually doing pretty good. I'm not doing full episode reviews because that would just take way too much time to do full episode reviews of those three. If they re-air on Nickelodeon once the season comes back, then I'll probably like do proper episode reviews of them. But I genuinely thought they were good. They were pretty good. I enjoyed them. But yes. Go back to playing with your toy. You were having so much fun rolling around playing with that toy. I know. I paid attention to you. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. My little puppy is crated right here next to my computer. I've been very careful about showing stuff. That's why my angle changed. I actually switched to my other monitor over here to have my camera focused on a different location because I had stuff back here for the puppy that you couldn't see when I made videos and made my like talking head videos over here in front of my wall, but you would have been able to see with the webcam. So I changed monitors to show, which is why it was so frustrating because I had to deal with my window over here. But I was hiding this puppy thing for a long time, but like I was hiding actual stuff for months and months and months and months. I think I started getting stuff back in March. That's when I started getting stuff. So that gives you an idea of how long I was hiding stuff. Maybe even February. I may have bought some stuff in February. I don't remember. So that's where I'm at. So how have you been, Lanzo? I feel like I'm so disconnected from people now because I have not been doing live streams, and I feel like live streams have really helped me connect with people, and I've not been doing them because I've been hiding my puppy. I've been hiding the fact that I have a puppy, and now he's pouting. So he's pouting because he wants to play. He wants to get out of his crate and play, and he can't do that while I'm live streaming because he's still potty training, and I have to pay very close attention to him. And he's still teething, so I have to pay very close attention to him. It is me, David. Hello. Yes, it is me. I have to get a new cord for my Blue Yeti. I think I actually did buy one. I just have to find it because he's chewed through somewhat of that. And then he's also chewed through my ring light, which I bought a new one that just came in the mail yesterday, which I was very happy about because I was concerned about it getting in here in time for my live stream. It was supposed to be here today, but he got here a day early, which I'm very happy about. I have a new rosacea treatment that I stupidly put on right before the live stream. So that's why I'm not wearing any makeup. So I'm hoping this all starts to kind of go away, all this rosacea stuff. The redness probably won't. That's usually done through like laser treatments, which is like $600. And then the bumps that you see that people often make fun of me for having acne. Not that it's a problem to have acne, but it's not actually acne. So it's rosacea. Very, very different condition. So if you're wondering why I'm not wearing my normal makeup, that's why. I just didn't want to put it on. I didn't want to put the treatment on and then put makeup on over the treatment because I felt like that was going to be counterintuitive of putting my treatment on. So future Saturdays, I will have to put the treatment on right away in the morning so that it's fully soaked in by the time I'll be putting makeup on. I cannot get rid of rosacea. Rosacea is not treatable or is not curable. It is treatable, but it is not curable. So you can get rid of it to an extent, but I will always have to be doing treatments. I will always have to be basically doing laser treatments if I want to get rid of the redness. But rosacea is not curable. Rosacea is only treatable. And anything contrary to that is incorrect information and probably an MLM. Stay away from it. Again, it's not acne though. It's rosacea, which is a completely different condition. You can get rid of acne. Acne is something you can get rid of because usually that's either hormonal or has to do with what you're putting on your skin, things like that. Rosacea is a skin condition that essentially what it means is that my face skin, from what I've understood, this do not quote me on this because this is what I've understood that was explained to me when I was diagnosed with rosacea, was that the skin on my face is very thin. And so it's a lot easier for my blood vessels to become inflamed, which is what you're seeing with the redness. This is all blood vessel issues. And then because of that, I get bumps because of the inflammation. So yeah, it's not acne. It's a completely different condition. It has nothing to do with hygiene. It has nothing to do with what I'm putting on my skin. What I put on my skin can inflame my rosacea more, which is why I don't wear makeup on a regular basis, because that does, by the time I'm done wearing makeup every Saturday, whenever I'm filming, my rosacea is super inflamed. But it's not the cause of it. It's not about diet. It's about literally nothing aside from just the fact that I am Norwegian and it's very common among Norwegians. So has it been revealed? I've not looked into it. I try really hard to stay away from like spoilers of any kind. So I try to stay away from like titles of episodes. I try to stay away from synopses of episodes. I I will, I try to go into the episodes as blind as possible. That's kind of my thing. You did not miss a puppy cameo if you would like to see him. He's starting to fall asleep, but I can take my camera and you guys can see him. He's crated right now. Oops. My camera's being difficult. Hold on. Sorry. He's crated right now. He's falling asleep. Starting from a little... He was playing when I first started, and then I paid attention to him because how dare I pay attention to him? So then he decided to start to fuss, and then he decided to pout. And so through his poutiness, he's now getting tired. So no, I might take him out. If he gets fussy again, I might take him out. But I'm having him crated during my live streams because he's still potty training. So I worry. And whenever I'm at my computer, he likes to either chew on my computer stuff. Like I said earlier, I had to replace my ring light here for my at my computer. I have to replace, I think I did. I just haven't done anything with it yet. I think I got a nice long cord, but I have to do something with my Blue Yeti. I can't pull it up anymore, but he's chewed this cord pretty much through. It still works. Okay, I think we're gonna have to put the Blue Yeti away, and I'm just gonna have to use that. So, because like I said, this cord works and then also doesn't work. So I just have to get my new cord connected. I don't know what I did with it. Yeah, he likes to chew on a lot of things. Yes, being a puppy is always very difficult, and I'm the worst mom ever. Yeah, the audio may not be as good because I'm not using my Blue Yeti anymore. So it's coming straight from my webcam now. So I apologize if the audio is crud. Yeah, like I said, I like to go into episodes blind, especially because I do these reviews. I feel like if I know anything going into the episodes, it's going to kind of alter how I feel about the episode. So I try really hard to go in blind to episodes. So I probably won't pay attention to anything like that, but I'm curious. You know, you're definitely still pouting though, aren't you? You are definitely still pouting. You're hilarious, puppy. It's making me really nervous about that. I'm just going to see if I can get this to work again. Hold on. So we should be using my Blue Yeti again. Let me take a look. Yeah, looks like it's using my Blue Yeti. Okay. So it is working. Just don't touch the cord and we'll all be fine. There, I feel much better using my Blue Yeti microphone because I know the quality that comes out of that thing. But yes, the puppy has been a piece of work. But now you guys should all understand why I took some time off because I was hiding a puppy when I picked him up May 15th, I think is when he came home. Yeah, May 15th because that was a Saturday. Yeah, so May 15th is when he came home, and I didn't announce him until July 1st. So did that with Nova too. I kept her quiet, but I continued filming with her, and it ended up being really difficult because you could actually, there are some videos before I announced her that you can see her reflection in the artwork, in my artwork behind me in the videos. You can actually see her reflection, and my friends pointed her out in a couple privately. They're like, you can see Nova, and I was like, I know, I saw that while I was editing. Which puppy is your favorite? I don't have a favorite dog. Both of my dogs are my favorite, but if you're asking about like my favorite breed is actually the Saint Bernard. Hopefully that'll be the next dog I would get. The only reason I didn't get one, I actually got, if you guys watch my video, I said this sort of in that video. I did get permission from my landlords, who are my parents, to get a Saint Bernard. They didn't want me to get one just because they're really slobbery. They're really a slobbery dog. So they opted for me to not get one at any point while I lived in their mother-in-law suite. But when I was looking at dogs this time and I was really struggling with breed and I was really struggling with, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a collie, and then that ended up not happening because the whole story is on that video. Go watch the beginning of that video, or the whole video, I guess. But it's the beginning of the video where I talk about the collie situation. And then at that point, my mom was like, if you really want to get a St. Bernard, you can get a St. Bernard. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea with living basically in a studio apartment. So with like a massive golden retriever. So he's a mix. So Cosmo is a pure golden retriever, but he's a mix of the American breed and the British breed. So the American breed tends to, so Apollo is an American breed. He's a pure American breed. So American breeds are taller, lankier. They got longer snouts. And then the British breed is shorter, stockier, and has a shorter snout with a boxier head. And so Cosmo's dad was a British breed and his mom was an American breed. And he ended up with traits of both. So that's why he's so massive, because he's tall like an American breed, but he's built like a British breed. So that's why he's so massive. Yeah, so they usually take a break during the summer. So the season starts in January, then they take a break for all of summer, and then they come back in August and end the season in December. So it is a little backwards from like regular United States television. But yeah, so this is pretty normal. Yeah. Considering they're like 50 episodes long, like Super Sentai is 50 episodes long, that does not surprise me at all that they would have no real breaks except for like holidays and whatnot. But yeah, this is pretty normal. I did put on some Homeward Bound for Apollo. He does like to watch TV. He's very interested in television. Cosmo likes to watch TV too, but he has no real interest in animals being on the television. He's more interested actually in things like Power Rangers, oddly enough. He likes action adventure. He likes a lot of explosions, which is weird because he hates explosions in real life, but he likes them on TV. And I don't think color matters because dogs can only see sepia tone and blue. So I do not have Air Bud, and I really should get Air Bud because I really liked that movie when I was a kid. So I should get that. So originally they adapted pretty much all of the Sentai episodes, but when Disney took over, they moved it down to more of a normal United States season. I think like 30 some odd episodes is usually where they landed in the Disney seasons. And then when they came back to do, when it came back to Saban, I guess maybe it equals out with seasons because they usually do 2 seasons of a Sentai, or they do 2 seasons of Power Rangers for one Sentai, so it probably does eventually equal out to 50 or so. But when I talk about like a season, the season's gonna be like I said, it starts in January, ends in December, but they take that break in the summer and then they just start again. Yep. Like I said, Apollo did enjoy watching the scenes from Homeward Bound that I put on the TV. The one of the scenes I put on was the cougar scene, and he was actually more interested in the cougar than he was in the dogs. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, he is interested in other dogs. He's not met many other dogs in his life. He's only really been interacting with Cosmo. My sister has a dog. She has not brought him over yet to play with Apollo. I thought she would on my dad's birthday, which was last weekend. I thought she would bring Ace over to play with Apollo so that he can get socialized. But I'm not going to socialize him too much until he's got completely up to date. I mean, he is currently up to date with the vaccines that he can get, but he needs to be. He doesn't have like rabies yet. He doesn't have his Lyme booster yet. He's got his distemper and he's got his Bordetella in full, but I don't feel comfortable having him out and about too much until he's like fully vaccinated. So just assumed, I don't know why that they'd be as long as the shows they're based on. Yeah. Like I said, originally they were like one of my favorite things to do whenever I do watch a Sentai is to watch the Sentai and then watch the Power Rangers counterpart. And then what was really interesting is the most recent one that I've been able to watch has been Hurricaneger, and that's just because I only watch it when it's legally available in the United States. And so Hurricaneger was the last one to be released by Shout. And so that was the first time where I was like, oh, I don't even remember this episode even a little in Power Rangers. And then sure enough, it wasn't even an episode in Power Rangers. So hello, Emmanuel. Saturday has been going well. I have a new rosacea treatment, which is why I'm not wearing my makeup right now. I stupidly put it on right before my live stream. So I thought it was pretty counterintuitive since makeup inflames my rosacea. I figured it was pretty counterintuitive to put on the treatment and then put on makeup. So that's why I'm not wearing makeup. Yeah, so MMPR, but you have to remember MMPR was based off of 3 different Sentais. It was based off of Zyuranger for season 1, Dairanger for season 2, and Kakuranger for season 3. So you have to remember that. And it was not 900. MMPR is not 900 episodes because it was only, how many episodes was that? I don't remember. Mighty. There we go. Thank you. How many? No, I don't want seasons. I know there's only 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. One day I'll learn how to type. 145 episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And yeah. Are you watching Geki Ranger right now? That sounds good. I'm fine with waiting until they come out here. In Jungle Fury, is that what Geki Ranger is Jungle Fury? I love Jungle Fury. It's one of my favorite seasons. It does feel like 900 episodes. It's a lot. It's long. It feels long. Gauranger, I did see Gauranger. Yep. I've seen everything that's been released by Shout. So I've seen Gauranger. So I watched them all in order. So I watched, well, not technically not, because I did watch Jetman at the end of everything, because Jetman doesn't have a Power Rangers counterpart. But and I'd seen Jetman before. So Jetman is one of my favorites. So that it's a good season. I liked Gauranger a little bit more than I like Wild Force. Yeah, like I said at the very beginning, they did actually try to incorporate. Now seasons 2 and 3 were really weird because they continued with the Zyuranger suits, but they were using Dairanger everything else, like the Dairanger monsters, Dairanger Zords, we call them Zords here in the United States. And same thing with Kakuranger until the end when they did the Alien Ranger miniseries where they actually used Sentai footage at that point for suits and stuff. But they continued using the Zyuranger suits throughout all of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is why it's kind of set apart from the other seasons. But yeah, so it's kind of funny to look back at that now, knowing that Dairanger doesn't have a Black Ranger. Dairanger has a Green Ranger, and yet we had a green Zord for a Black Power Ranger. It was hilarious. Maybe they're still alive. Well, they didn't die. I don't want to spoil anything, but they didn't die. Rita and Zed didn't die. Yes, you are correct. I've now been able to locate where Tommy's where you can see Budai. Well, I guess when he becomes the evil Green Ranger, I suppose where you see Budai, because you do see Budai when he sits up. That's Budai, not Jason Day Frank, not Tommy. It's Budai. But yeah, Dan, you can see in one shot. You are correct. I've been able to locate that one. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate everything about Samurai. I just hate a lot of the production value of Samurai, but I thought the suits were cool, and I thought the Zords were really cool. Like the actual Sentai stuff, I thought were really cool. But the actual production of the show, of the Power Rangers show, was not well done, in my opinion. Is terrible acting, terrible writing, terrible directing. What's my favorite Dino Power Ranger season? Oh, that's hard because right now we're in the middle of one. And so it's really hard for me to say because I really like Dino Fury. Right now I'd say Dino Thunder, just because I think that Dino Thunder was a lot more fleshed out than the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And I don't know how Dino Fury is going to end yet. So I can't really say that I like that better at this point. Because I feel like the story has to be complete. You've only seen Dino Charge and Dino Fury. Dino Charge is so good. I love Dino Charge. It's still to this day my favorite opening theme. Like I love the Dino Charge opening theme. But Dino Charge was, I hate to give props to Jason David Frank, and I hate to give props to the character Tommy because I'm so sick of the character Tommy. But I gotta say, Dino Charge was so good. It was really well fleshed out. It was a really great story, really great characters, good acting. Sometimes the New Zealand actors had trouble with their accents, which I think is hilarious, but for the most part, you ran into that a lot in the Disney seasons when you had New Zealand and Australian actors doing American accents, because they were not always good at it. But I could hear it a lot in like Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder the most. Oh, Dino Charge. Why am I thinking? My brain is not working. I forgot about Dino Charge. Genuinely, which is weird because that's the next Power Ranger season my mom wants to watch with me. She was asking about that one not too long ago. She's like, what about the Dino Charge one? I was like, yeah, this first season's really good. Second season, not so good. Dino Thunder is what I was talking about before. God, my brain. Yep, Dino Charge Morpher is like a gun. You are correct. It is. I thought that was a really cool Morpher. I think Dino Charge had good acting. My issue with Dino Charge was season 2. I feel like the writers were like, wow, Dino Charge season 1 was so good. We gotta lower the bar a little bit. It was when I first realized that Judlin was no longer good at his job. The first season back that we had Judlin credited as Chiplin at that point. But as the first season, we had Judlin back in the showrunner position of Power Rangers, and he failed season 2 tremendously because the characters were not the same. I mean, they were, but they weren't. And the direction they took some of those characters were very weird, very off to me. Yeah, I didn't like season 2 as much as season 1. But it was definitely the best. I still feel to this day the best fully Neo Saban season, because it's definitely better than Samurai. It's definitely better than Megaforce, and was definitely better than Ninja Steel. And then Beast Morphers is weird because Beast Morphers is technically Neo Saban, but it's also technically Hasbro. So this is the first full Hasbro season. Because Saban was still in charge. Saban and Judlin were still in charge of a lot of things. Judlin still ran the show. Don't get me started on Judlin. He's so lazy. In Dino Charge Sentai version, there was a monster that used guns. They couldn't adapt that monster. Yeah, that would make sense. I know there's episodes of Pokemon that we've not seen because of guns. I've seen them, or I've seen one specifically where there's like a gun to Ash's head for most of the episode, or Satoshi's head for most of the episode. Yeah, but it's not a gun because that's the thing. So Standards and Practices has very specific rules when it comes to children's television shows. So when I was a kid, you could have guns in cartoons just fine and kids shows just fine. There was actually nothing wrong with showing a real gun in children's television shows. And then a thing called Columbine happened. and guns were no longer, standards and practices decided that guns were no longer acceptable for children to see in media. So they can't be real guns. So they can't be like guns with bullets. If it's not a real gun, so laser gun or water gun or things like that. That's why a lot of people had so many issues with how they adapted One Piece at first. And that's because I don't want to bring this up too much because it's going to raise my anxiety because I have PTSD, especially when it comes to One Piece. Anyway, so that's why a lot of people had trouble with how that was adapted at first in the English speaking realm, because they had to follow standards and practices for children. So they had to change certain things. But standards and practices makes it very specific. They cannot have loaded bullet guns in children's television. So that's why the Dino Charge morpher was fine, because it wasn't a real gun. It was a they were never used with bullets. Like, it was used to morph them, right? So that's why they can't that's where the difference was. So it's likely that was a real bullet gun, and standards and practices would never have let that fly. Time Ranger had real guns, but that was used not by the Sentai characters. That was, like the actual team. That was used by people, but they did have real guns in Time Ranger. So, that is not legal yet in the state of Minnesota. So unfortunately, that is not a possibility for me, but I am seeing a therapist, and we are working on overcoming my PTSD. So you can overcome PTSD. You can go into remission with it. And I'm working with my therapist on that, but we have not worked on anything regarding anime or the anime community. So still no anime in my life yet for a long, long time. I try, but every time I start, I have a panic attack. So it's fun. In Dino Charge, they had a band called the NZ Boys, and the song they sang was really catchy, don't you think? I have not watched Dino Charge in so long. I need to rewatch it. I did start rewatching it at one point when it was still on Netflix, but for some weird reason, Netflix was really glitchy with it, so I stopped. So I do need to rewatch it, but I need to buy it because I don't think that was one of the ones that survived Netflix's destruction of Power Rangers, yet they're putting new episodes of friggin' Dino Fury on Netflix. I don't understand what is wrong with Hasbro? I don't understand what's going on with Hasbro. Can I explain Super Mega Force in comments now or after this video post? I don't know what you mean by that. If you want to talk about Mega Force or Super Mega Force, I don't use the supers. If you want to talk about Mega Force, you can absolutely talk about Mega Force. That's fine. I'll comment on whatever it is you comment on, but go for it. Sorry, my non-allergic rhinitis is also acting up a lot right now. So I have a lot of drainage. So if I am clearing my throat, that's why. Except like Kamen Rider Kuga, where one of the leads is a police detective and shoots at the creatures who are killing loads of people. Early Toku didn't pretend that people didn't die. Yeah. Like I said, Time Ranger they had, but that was also like the early 2000s. I think that was like 2000 when that one came out, because I think Time Force was 2001. So Time Ranger would have been 2000. But they had like genuinely real guns in Time Ranger. I'll look it up at some point. I haven't looked into that super recently. Like I said, I haven't watched Dino Charge since I first watched it, since it aired. So Dino Charge just kind of left a weird taste in my mouth after season 2. And I just lost all faith in Judlin. And then just continued to lose faith in Judlin with every season that passed. He is still pouting, by the way. He's still fully awake and still just pouting. I figured he'd fall asleep by now. But he's just laying there in his crate, staring at me with one eye, pouting. He's such a pouter. He's so dramatic. Apollo is so freaking dramatic. He's so dramatic. It's hilarious. When he was little, because he's grown a lot since I got him, but when he was little, you might see a couple of moments like this, but he would jump off of something and he would tumble. Like he would lose his balance and not just fall. He would just like tuck and roll. Like he's so dramatic and it's so funny. The very first sound of this live stream was him growling because he was playing with a toy. And so the very first sound of this live stream was just that. It was really funny. So which Power Rangers season do I like more than the Sentai? There are a few. I like Power Ranger a little more than Wild Force. I liked Hurricaneger more than Ninja Storm. It's kind of a toss-up with Time Ranger and Time Force. I feel like I should say I like Time Ranger more because Time Ranger is like my favorite Sentai, and Time Force is not my favorite season of Power Rangers. So I feel like I should say that. It's also a toss-up, but in a different way with Car Ranger and Turbo. Freaking hate both of them so much. They were both terrible. Yeah. So that's that. I'm trying to think of another one. I like Zyuranger more than the season 1 of Power Rangers. I would have to say Zyuranger has always been one of my favorites. I mean, not anymore, but was like, because I had seen Zyuranger and Jetman, and so those were like the two that I really like focused on when it came to Super Sentai. Those were the two that I really focused on until I got to see more. But I saw those before I stopped watching things only when they became available in the United States legally. So those I watched prior to that, which is why those are the only two I watched, because I changed my opinion on that around that time. So I have to admit that I thought the big change was you going to be buying a house, but then you posted a video about that in the meantime. And I was like, oh, I guess it wasn't that. Yeah. Because I've been talking about a big change since the end of 2020. I've been talking about a big change, and so I do plan on buying a house. Actually, my plan right now is actually, instead of buying a house, is going to buy land and build a house, because I am very particular, and I've come to the realization that the only way that I'm going to get the kind of house that I want is if I have it built, which I know can actually be a little bit more expensive. So I'm looking at my finances and trying to work that out. I obviously used to work in real estate, so I have a lot of friends in real estate, one specifically that I'm working with directly, to help me figure all of that out. But yeah, there was that one house that I was looking into buying, which would have been a total renovation for the most part. The kitchen was still intact. But I would have had to buy all new flooring. It was like inside the ground. So the bedrooms were all like egress windows. So like the egress windows. And so we were going to put in like skylights in the bedrooms, because it was like 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And we were going to put skylights in at least the 3 bedrooms, if not also the bathroom, because that was also in the back of the house. And we were going to tear out some stuff and change some things. And because there was no backyard, because I kept calling it the top yard, because my dad was like, let's go in the backyard and see what the backyard looks like. I was like, it's not the backyard, Dad. It's not in the back of the house, it's on top of the house. So I called it the top yard. And I was like, I could just, sit on the roof. Like, it's easy to get up on the roof and stuff like that. But yeah, I probably post that pretty quick whenever I start that process, because that's going to be something fun to like document. I mean, I've documented his whole first time, like his whole first life, his first few months or couple months, 1 month here with me. So you'll all get to see that coming up. So it's not like I didn't document it. I did. But because that's one thing I regret about Cosmo's puppyhood is I have a lot of pictures, but I don't have a lot of video footage because I was doing YouTube, but not to the extent that I do YouTube now. So it just wasn't something I thought about a lot. But yeah, no, that is on the list. That's hopefully something that I'm gonna start that process hopefully sometime next year is the plan. But which is why the next dog I think will be able to be a St. Bernard because I'll actually have a big, nice yard. But that was the other thing too, is the front yard was going to have to be where the dogs would go. So I was planning on putting in like a nice picket fence up in the front yard to make it look nice, and have that front yard fenced in because there was no good way to get them into the backyard. So, which again was just actually a top yard, not a backyard. You should watch Deca Ranger. That Sentai makes me sad because I finished watching it this season. It was so good. I will once it's available in the United States legally. Once it's released, I will gladly watch it. I am a slave to Shout at this point, so it's coming up. It's one of the ones I've always wanted to watch. That one and Power Ranger, which makes me sad because those are literally the next two. Power Ranger is next, and then Deca Ranger. So it's like I was really sad when they were like, okay, we're just going to stop at Hurricaneger for a hot minute. So yeah. All fanfic pie Schwamasters took Demon Star power to be Squadron Rangers. Oh, I don't read a lot of Power Ranger fan fiction, so I can't speak on that. Sentinel Knight made battalion Rangers to defend the Armada's Corona Aurora. Is that, again, I haven't watched Operation Overdrive in a long time. I'm guessing that's also fan fiction, which again, I don't read it, so I don't know. I have started reading fan fiction, but not about Power Rangers. That's something else. In Wild Force, it's so obvious which one is Sentai footage and which one's original. It's very obvious for a long, long time in Power Rangers. Like I can sit there and tell you what's Sentai footage and what's not Sentai footage in a lot of seasons earlier on. What's weird is I can tell also in Dino Fury, which really weirds me out because Dino Fury is a relatively, like that Sentai is a relatively new one. Wasn't that one like just came out in 2019 or something? And 2018 or 2019, something like that. And for a long time now, I've had a hard time telling. I would have to look at the background to see if there's Japanese writing or not. But for the most part, they don't do stuff in like towns anymore. They do stuff like out in the wilderness. So it's a lot harder to tell, but the footage is so different because for a long time until everybody switched to digital, and this came from the mouth of one of the original producers of Power Rangers, who I'm friendly with. They use different film. So before everybody went to digital, they actually use different film. So the American company, Haim Saban's company, chose to decrease the film within what we would normally use industry-wide. Here at the time, we would use a different film. And so they switched to the film that they used in Japan. However, it was still slightly different because of the different manufacturers and stuff. So they still had to try to alter as best they could the United States footage, the English-speaking footage, to try and match the Sentai as best as possible. But that did not always work out very well because you can tell, especially like in Mighty Morphin and Zeo and Turbo, you can almost always tell because the footage is almost grainier. The Sentai footage is almost grainier than the American footage is, or the United States footage. So it's pretty obvious. And I would say up to Wild Force was still pretty obvious, but also because whenever they gender bend a Power Ranger, you can almost always tell because especially like in something like Lost Galaxy, where our Yellow Ranger was actually very well endowed. She was a very well endowed woman, or is a very well endowed woman. But the Sentai counterpart's a dude. So all of a sudden the top half of her body looked very, very different. The Prison Rangers made the Zeo Crystal. Yeah. I don't know. Has that been actually like made? I don't know. I've not read any of the comics. I can't speak on anything that's in the comics, but has that been actually made canon? I guess. The Gem of Souls made the Lost Ninja Spirits Spectre powers. Again, I don't know anything of what you're mentioning at the moment. Yeah, but Kiss Asian is not legally, it is still technically bootlegged. It's not legally licensed. So like if people want to watch it, that's fine. That's their choice. I'm not somebody who chooses to watch stuff that's not legally licensed. So it's not available. So essentially what that means is that the production company that made Super Sentai doesn't get the money that they rightfully deserve, in my opinion, rightfully deserve for the work that they put into the Super Sentai show. So that's why I only watch things when they're legally licensed. Because I like to make sure that the artists that worked on that show, being a filmmaker myself, I like to make sure that the people who put blood, sweat, and tears into art get the money that they rightfully deserve. Like I said, it's up to you. It is your choice about how you watch stuff. But that's where I stand in my own like personal belief system. Like I said, being a filmmaker myself, I would hate to have somebody enjoying something that I created artistically, but have me receive no return on investment on that. So that's why I do not choose to watch things through things like Kiss Asian, because it's not something that legally licenses things. It is definitely something that is fan created. And whether or not you believe that it's a victimless crime or not is technically stolen footage. Whether you believe it's a victimless crime or not, it's still something that somebody has stolen. Copyright law is a thing. Exactly. Like I said, it's okay to wait for that, and I have no problem waiting for it. I mean, I ran into a lot of trouble. That's part of the reason why, just talking about it gives me anxiety, because again, it's part of the reason why I experienced a lot of trauma when it comes to anime, is because I was very vocal about that. And it wasn't okay to a lot of people. And I received a lot of death threats and scary messages, and I experienced a lot of trauma. So if you notice I'm a little anxious at the moment, that's why I'm fidgeting with a nail clipper at the moment, because it's keeping me from having a panic attack by just talking about it. So no, I only watch things that are legally licensed in the United States, because I feel like the creators deserve my money, or money from if I'm enjoying their art, they should be receiving that money from me, or from whoever, however that works, whether it's through ads or something like that. Thank you for that. That's something that has not been respected a lot in the past. And that, like I said, I respect other people's choices. I used to not. I used to be very vocal and very judgmental, but I've grown and changed, because I also understand that people draw their lines differently as to what they want to do and what they wouldn't want to do. And that's perfectly fine. Kiss Asian just grabs fan subs, which were made by fans for no profit, and use them to generate revenue for their site, which is very wrong. That I would say is very wrong. But there are other countries that have a very different copyright laws. And so I do know, like China, for example, has very different copyright laws, where it's like you can actually sell bootlegs like on like in a corner store. From what I understand, I don't know if that's changed, but I do know people that have gone to China on business have told me that you can just buy bootlegs wherever. So there are some countries out there that you can make profit, but in my opinion, that's very wrong to make profit off of something that you did not create at all. Like, they not only did they steal the footage, but they stole the fan subs, which then they're making profits off of things that they had absolutely no hand in making. Again, I don't think any of this is canon, though. Because, like, I know Mystic Force. None of this is canon. I mean, it's great that if you're coming up with your own canon. That's fantastic. I love when people are creative. I come up with my own canon all the time. I have a head canon about how Zordon and Gosei knew each other. because we know that Gosei was a protege of Zordon. So I love that people make their own headcanons. That's fantastic. Keep doing it. But I don't think any of this is canon. Dino Charge was obvious. Sentai footage is the color of Ivan's suit. Yeah, I had heard that there was some issue with that, with a suit. I don't remember the specifics, but obviously that must be what it was. But I remember hearing something about that. I didn't pay much attention to the difference between Sentai and footage and American footage at that time that I was watching Dino Charge, because I was just getting back into Power Rangers at that point. So I wasn't really like focused on the Sentai, and I figured I was never going to see the Sentai anyway. So why focus on it? And then Shout started coming out with it, and then they stopped. It is tough. It is very tough. Like there are days where I wish I felt like I could watch it, but I just, it's tough for me because like I said, as a filmmaker, it's tough for me to justify myself. But like I said, if it's something that you enjoy doing, more power to you. Be careful about where you go. Make sure that you don't get a virus. Make sure you're safe where that's concerned. And maybe rethink about Kiss Asian, because that sounds very questionable. I'd maybe rethink that website for sure. At the very least, rethink that website, because if they're making profit off of things that they're literally stealing, I don't know. Non-profit, fine. As long as you're not making a profit off of it. But if they're making profit off of it, maybe rethink that one for sure. Okay, yeah, like I said, I don't think any of this is canon, because again, Lost Galaxy, I know. Those are seasons I've watched a lot of. So again, great. Love that you're creating new canons in your head. Like, I love head canon. I love when people are creative about stuff. Love it. It's fantastic. But yeah. I mean, editing, essentially. It's I don't know. It'd be fun to sit down with Tony at some point and we could talk about it. Maybe next time I see him, I'll see if he wants to do an interview, because I've been friendly with Tony for many years now. So we'll see. We will see. Who knows? Next time I see Tony, I don't know when the next time I'll see Tony is, because obviously conventions are, I think that's not happening. The convention that I saw Tony at every single year, the one that I staff, has had to cancel the last 2 years because it's in April. So it canceled in 2020 and it's canceled in 2021. So I'm hoping 2022 we'll be able to see each other again. But he and I have been friendly for many years now because I staff that convention. So I think he's just making his own canon. I think he's just sharing some of his thoughts with us. And I think that should be respected and should be applauded for the creativity. But again, we have to remember that it's not canon. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. Trying to calm down my anxiety. I talked about One Piece and I talked about streaming anime and Sentai. 2 things that cause me anxiety the most about Japanese television right now. Trying to calm down. Bear with me. I think he's actually asleep now. Pretty sure he's like full on asleep at the moment. That's so cute. He finally fell asleep. But yeah, so that's that. I don't know. What else is there? He just changed positions. He's fine. He's still asleep. He moves around a lot when he's sleeping. He'll wake up just briefly to move, and then he just falls right back to sleep. He's a cute little puppy. I think next week I'm going to redo Natalie's tank completely, my frog. I have a new plan with what I want to do for her tank. Completely new. And it's going to make my life so much easier. He does not snore. Cosmo does, but Apollo does not snore. He does sometimes talk in his sleep, and so he'll growl in his sleep sometimes, but for the most part, he does not snore necessarily. But yeah, Cosmo snores, and he sometimes keeps me awake while he snores. It's really funny. But anyway, Yeah, so no, he doesn't snore. Nova will sometimes, but her snores are so like low because she didn't purr. And for like the first 2 years of her life, she didn't purr. And now she's finally starting to purr, which I guess is normal for some cats. Some cats just don't purr. And so I thought she would never purr, but she would snore sometimes. So I think sometimes her maybe purring was coming out in her sleep. And it's so foreign to hear her purr for me that sometimes that's what I'm probably hearing while I'm sleeping because she sleeps really close to my face generally. Which is why when she went missing for 12 hours, I didn't sleep very well. Well, to be fair, I thought she had gotten outside, so I thought she was dead and I thought she was never coming home. And that night I had a dream that she came home or that she was found. We found her. And I was so excited in my dream. And then I woke up and realized it was a dream. And I was very sad. But usually she's sleeping like right by my face. But we've come to realize because our AC wasn't working at that time. So we've come to realize that I think she went to find a really cool place in the house. And we just don't know where she went. And then we got the AC fixed. And now she's been sleeping with me again. So don't know. Oops, this one. Yes, puppy dreams are my favorite. Apollo doesn't necessarily do too much in his dreams. Like he's not running. He doesn't like Cosmo will run in his sleep. Cosmo, I mean, obviously laying down, like he moves his legs, like he's running. And he'll like bark. So you'll hear, and that's him barking in his sleep. And I can tell the difference of like when he's upset versus when he's like just having fun. I can tell the difference. So if he's upset, I'll usually wake him. But yeah, Cosmo is very active in his sleep when he's dreaming. Apollo hasn't been super active yet, but usually, like I said, usually it's growls. It's not really barks yet. It's not the like barks that Cosmo does yet. So people think Void Knight and Centaura are Amelia's parents in Dino Fury. That would be an interesting twist. That definitely would be a very interesting twist, and not unlike some Power Ranger seasons prior. So we've definitely had surprise parents in the past that were actually evil, and some that were just dead. So it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that's a genuinely like good theory. It'd be interesting to see that actually come to fruition. I've always wondered what the point of Void Knight was. I mean, he looks like Korag. That's all I'll say. One of our cats didn't meow for like her first 2 years. We thought she was a mute because she wouldn't meow. She would mouth a meow, but nothing would come out. So Corvette, the cat that I had prior to Nova, we put her down in, I don't know, it was right after I actually graduated college. When did I graduate college? I don't remember. It's 10 years later than I should have. Because I dropped out for 10 years. 2019 then, right? Because I would have originally graduated in 2009 if I had just stuck with college in general and wouldn't have transferred, and if I had just had my crap together, I would have graduated in 2009. So yeah, 2019 was when I graduated college then. She was like that. Corvette was like that. And the only time she would meow is when she would have a toy in her mouth, and the sound that would come out of her mouth sounded like she was dying. It was this really low, like guttural sound, and it scared us half to death the first time we heard it. We just realized that's what she does. She would just have a toy in her mouth and just make that noise. And apparently that's, I've heard other cat owners say that previously too. But yeah, she would also like mouth meow, but nothing would come out of her mouth. Cobalt, my parents' cat that passed away about a year after Corvette did. I had Nova when she passed away. They did not get along. She was deaf though, so she would meow so loud, and her meows were so weird because she was deaf. So it was interesting. Amelia is bomb. I love Amelia. She's probably my favorite character. That or Izzy. One of the two girls are my favorites, and that's so unlike me in a Power Ranger season. So it's unlike me to have the female Rangers be my favorites, which is weird. Yeah, like I said, and especially because it would happen in the middle of the night. She would always play in the middle of the night. And so she would this would happen like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm a morning person. So I'm usually in bed and asleep by like 10 every night. I'm usually in bed by 9 and asleep by 10. And so like imagine waking up at like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to that really just low guttural meow. It was awful every time. It scared me every time, but I knew like as the years went on with her, we knew that because we had Corvette since I was 15. She was like 18 when she died. So we had her since I was like 18. Or sorry, 15. We had her since I was 15. And she would make that noise. She started making that noise like maybe 3 or 4 years into her life. She started making that noise. Javi is your least favorite. Why is Javi your least favorite? I'm curious. I mean, he doesn't have much of a character. Like, I feel like everybody else has like a genuine character. I feel like Javi has not been given enough to really give him a great character yet. So we'll see. But why is Javi your least favorite? I'm curious. I know Ollie's up there. Yeah, like I said, he hasn't been given a lot. He has not been given a lot of character development yet. Like you've got, obviously like Zato, who is an alien. And so you've got all the alien stuff that you deal with. And you've got Amelia, who is very just upbeat character, believes in ghosts, believes in the paranormal, very out there character. And then you've got Ollie, who's kind of the geeky kind of guy, so he's got that all going on. And then you've got Izzy, who is the tomboy of everybody. And so she kind of stands out. But yeah, so I suppose Javi just doesn't, like I said, they just haven't given Javi enough yet. I feel like they forgot to write for Javi. You think that Zato is better alien than the Alien Rangers from Mighty Morphin and Orion from Super Mega Force? Yeah, though I still like Andros better. Andros, I like Andros and probably Zane better, but that's also not fair because In Space is genuinely one of my favorite seasons of Power Rangers. So yes, I knew who you're talking about. I feel like Orion was too human. I feel like they didn't write him as an alien enough. Okay. Again, I need to rewatch Megaforce, but again, I think that might just be you being creative, which is great. Continue being creative. I love when people are creative. That's why I love fan fiction. That's why I love fan art. I love when people take something they're passionate about and get creative about it. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful thing. Creativity is the way that the world stays livable. So that's my opinion. All right. Anything else people want to talk about? I suppose I could probably take Apollo out. I mean, I would be waking him up at this point, but I'd probably take Apollo out for a proper hello if you would like. Well, okay, like I said, but I mean, like the way that they usually would have aliens in the show is either they would look off like the Alien Rangers from Power Rangers actually look like aliens, like they had like these head things, like they had prosthetics on them that made them not look human. The ones that do look human, they would often, like for example, Zato in the current season, or like Andros, they struggle with Earth existence. I feel like Orion just caught onto Earth stuff real quick, and he was just too human in that regard, where he didn't struggle with a lot of stuff, is what I guess I mean. Well, I mean, he's a sixth ranger. Sixth ranger doesn't always appear that early on in the show. Especially when we start with 3 and then we went to 5 and we're going to 6. I mean, think about all the other time. The only other time that we've ever done that, gone from 3 to 6, which was Ninja Storm. You know, we didn't have the Green Ranger for a really, really long time in Ninja Storm. So he'll probably come. I'm guessing the message that Zato was sending off in one of these, I can't remember which one specifically anymore, in the 3 episodes that aired on Netflix, I'm guessing is what's going to bring that character in. I'm guessing, because why else be so specific about his messages reaching his home planet? And we already know that character is from his home planet. So, because we've seen the antennas in some imagery. So clearly, so I'm thinking it has something to do with those messages. So I would say within the next couple episodes, he'll probably appear, would be my guess. So if you know nothing about Megaforce, yes, very lazy writing. Megaforce was nothing but lazy writing. It was terrible. I appreciated Megaforce for the fact that it was a 20th season, and I appreciated Megaforce for the callbacks to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah, but the whole thing was just so lazy. Yeah, very, very lazy writing. The Q-Rex did look different in Megaforce. It was blue. Why was the Q-Rex randomly blue? Like, I don't understand. Was it not actually in the Sentai? Was it not actually I can't remember the name of, I can never remember. He's the Fire Ranger, but like, what was his name? I can't remember. I don't know. I didn't like him. I like Eric. Eric was more likable. But yeah, no, it was very strange. Like, I just don't understand why they made the Q-Rex blue. Quantum Ranger is a Red Ranger. Yeah, they changed some things. They definitely did. But I think all of the Zord stuff is all Sentai footage. So that's why I'm confused about like why the Q-Rex is blue in Megaforce / whatever Sentai that was. I can't remember the name of that Sentai anymore. I don't remember the names of all the Sentais, just some of them. The ones I've watched for sure, and then a couple others that I'm curious about watching. But like, why was that one? Why was it blue? I don't understand. Like, I sat there the whole time being like, because Eric's always been one of my favorite Power Rangers. So like, when the Q-Rex was starting to be shown in Megaforce, I was like, or Super Megaforce, whatever. And I'm just like, but why is it blue? Because Eric's a Red Ranger. He's not a Blue Ranger. But yeah, the Q-Rex looked very different. So I'm curious about that Sentai. Specifically just about that Sentai, though, about that specifically. I think I'm probably going to wrap it up here soon. I have other things I got to get done today. And I got to make sure my puppy goes potty again here relatively soon, because it's been a while now. And at his current age, he can hold it for 4 hours. We're inching our way to 5 hours. He's been holding it at night, which is fantastic, but I don't make him do that during the day because that's tough on him. The red lion looked different, merging with the soul bird, which we didn't see revived in Wild Force's finale. Oh, yeah, I gotta rewatch Wild Force. It's nice chatting with you too. Here, I'll bring him out so you guys can get a proper look at him. Hey, baby, oh my god, come out. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you weren't that sleepy. Come here, baby. Come here. Oh, big stretches first. Yes, come here, baby. Ugh. So he's gotten so much bigger. But this is the puppy. Aren't you? Are you my puppy? He's like, let me go. I want to be free. I gotta be free. But this is how big he's gotten. He's huge now. He's over 20 pounds at this point. Ugh. He doesn't look much like a puppy. He's never had a puppy face, which I think is hilarious. He's always like, Cosmo had a puppy face up until he was like 6 months old. This one never had a puppy face. This one has pretty much always looked like this. Hi. My face probably tastes gross because I still have that rosacea treatment on there. But it's probably dried up by now. Probably soaked in. Yeah, big dogs do grow pretty fast. I'm guessing he'll probably be about 60, 65 pounds when he's fully grown. We'll see. Yeah, he's in the gangly stage right now where his legs have outgrown his body. So he likes hugs. But yeah, he's got that long legs where he looks like a baby deer trying to learn how to walk. I know my face tastes really weird. You're not gonna lick my face again, are you? My face tastes weird. Love you. You're the bane of my existence right now, baby. Okay, went down. All right, don't pee. Pee when you go outside, please. Oh, no. You don't need to eat bubble wrap. I promise. You do not need to eat bubble wrap. Go say. See, again, like I love that you're being creative about that. Like I've got my own headcanon about where Gosei came from and why he was turns his sword on. So, and thank you. My puppy is very cute. I like him a lot. So I'm going to go ahead, sign off because I'm going to go ahead and take him out because I'm sure he has to go potty. So I'm going to take him out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you guys all again next week on Saturday because I'm going to start doing live streams again every Saturday. See you guys all next week. Bye.